Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here. Welcome to what is, and you might be asking, our Madden franchise. First one in a while, but however, we're not playing on console. We are on PC. We're going to be playing a modded Madden franchise. So, kind of round this out, what we're doing, it's going to be with the Bears, and we will be taking this team into the future and see what we can do. I'll put the mods below what we're going to be using in this. I'll be using in conjunction to try to make this like the old Maddens. So no XP, like bumps. So all of it is referring back to the old ways of Madden. And what we will be using as I launch this tool is we'll be using the My Franchise tool. And here it is in all its glory. That gives us a lot of stuff that can go through transactions, social media. We can look at who's the hunt. Puts it all in this nice, fun little portion that we can have. For the teams, I'm going to actually put everyone to CPU because this guy had to do user to put the save game together at this point for the game to actually function so we can get realistic stats. We're going to keep one as a CPU, as a user. That's going to be the Lions. Now, the reason why I do that is because I'm not sure if I'm going to have to actually change this to see. Now, the reason why I think this is we have the active coaches in the league with all of their great stuff. Now, the photos aren't in here because I had to put other photos, but we have a photo thing in game we can see. And the biggest thing is the Lions, or like these coordinators, everything like that. We want these coaches to be let go. We want the coordinators to be let go. We want to be able to pull these guys in if we do it. Now, there's not really a coach carousel in Madden. I wish there was. What I mean by coach carousel is you have some OCs that are getting promoted to head coach, and if you're employed as an OC, you're not really getting plucked to be a head coach or a defensive coordinator being plucked up because there's no like auto generator of coaches in a way, I don't think, in Madden. So with that in mind, like we have to think about what we're going to do, and we might have to do something where it's like, if we choose to go the route with Ben Johnson, we might have to actually fire Ben Johnson off the Lions. So that's why I'm going to keep them user pulled in. That's kind of the whole thing. We also have our free agent tab. We can look for all upcoming free agents, which is one of the things I've wanted in Madden. You can look at player contracts in there, team ratings, trade blocks. You can even see such thing as your own team and a breakdown and look at the team's scouting report. Now it's week 18. I've put in today's games up to this point, which today is Saturday. So the Saturday games with this do not have the Sunday games in, which is week 17. I have fast forward there. We will play the moments for the Green Bay Packers game, for the last game of the season. So our scouting report on this, and I know these numbers might be a little bit small to see. We are 26th in points, 12th in total yards on offense, 2nd in passing attempts, 9th in passing yards, but passing touchdowns, not a lot. Not a lot in that. So that's big. With this, we have the 16th ranked quarterback in the league. So average for a rookie, which is good for a rookie. Running backs, not great on this portion. Wide receivers, not particularly great as well. So not particularly great outside of the two tight ends. We probably need to get better outside of Komet. Offensive line is 27th in the league, and that's probably being generous at this point. Defense, still 11th in points allowed. Pretty good. But defensive line needs some more physicality in it. Or the Montez Sweat and Javon Dexter, we need some more push in this. Secondary is 3rd in the league, though. Linebackers have not been great. Edwards is the biggest key highlight to this, and Edmonds has been a disappointment at this point. One thing that's really cool with this, and we have to switch in between. So I'm going to switch and go ahead and create a save point for this and kind of reload this up. is we're gonna have to go in between both and kind of reload the save file at times. A little extra step in it, but it's not really a big deal in this because we pretty much just load the file from this as I blind myself and you with the widescreen because that's how it does. Loads the franchise up and it kind of gives you everything there. And what you can do with this tool, which is really cool, is we can look at our guys, make some changes. And you also have a cool thing of rankings. NFL power rankings. We are at 25. Offensive power rankings, we are funny enough at 12. The defensive power rankings, we are 31st. We've fallen off the rankings in defense, probably because we fired our head coach. Thomas Brown is the coach of the Bears with that. We are going with the current draft as well, and you have this cool tool here. You can see all of our picks right now highlighted. That's one thing in Modded Madden. Our draft class, anything goes with these guys. Shadur Sanders being number 1, actually played today. Colorado did not look great in a bowl game against BYU, but he will likely be the number 1 overall pick. Weird and funny thing with that, though, is Cam Ward wins the Heisman. Because this is Madden-wise and there's no such thing as two-way players. Cam Ward, who will be the 2nd overall quarterback taken. Here it is. I picked the wrong save. Here it is. Kyler Gordon is in there. We also have the changes to power back is here. A 3rd down back. So all of the stuff actually goes in to everything, which is really cool. We're dealing with that. It makes it a lot easier to make a lot of changes. So let's play this game. It is going to be a hard one at Lambeau. We're going to see our first look at Caleb Williams. A lot of changes could be going through this season. We'll have the commentary for the commentators in game. I'll just have it turned down a little bit. But other than that, you'll hear me because the magic of post editing. So DeAndre Smith there. Jordan Love, which ironically, besides touchdowns, Caleb Williams, I think, has played better than Jordan Love. The biggest thing with the Packers, though, is good coaching and good scheme on the offense and good execution across the board. Biggest thing, though, is that offensive line has been spectacular for the Packers as opposed to the Bears, which has been a subpar unit. Statistically, I think the 11 of the 60 sacks we've had so far in the season come from the edge. The other 59 sacks came in. The 49 sacks came in and hit the quarterback from the middle. I have to get used to this new little kicking bracket portion, so we do have that. You come in, going to be taken out, and a good tackle there. Didn't see who made that tackle. 26 TDs, 11 interceptions, 3,300 yards. Not on par with what's the first overall pick has done besides in that. Now let's go over and let's go play key moments for this. We will be playing full games in this franchise. Just we will not be playing full games for this game itself. Love looking. We go to a insane screen. Owens can't make the play, and it's a tackle, looks like, by Jalen Johnson. And down he goes. Zach Pickens is going to get himself a sack. That's Zach Pickens in there. In the 3rd round pick, well, is he 3rd round or is he a 5th round? I think he's a 3rd round pick. I could be wrong. But Zach Pickens showing some promise here. Had a little bit of an injury issue earlier in the season and last year. Soft tissue injury. They're a little bit tricky at times. They'll run straight ahead. We're on the outside, and that is going to be a great stop by TJ Edwards and company. Edmonds trying to find something going here.
Now Love.
Going there, and that's going to be, oh, it's dropped. And that's one thing in Modded Madden we have to get used to. Drops are more common in this one. It's not going to be a lot of stuff where we have a lot of interceptions, but that PBU is there. Could have used the interception, but it just was not meant to be. Manis puts that through the upright, and it is a 3-0 game. Caleb Williams looking at a third down alert, 3rd down and 7. Caleb looking at the offense. Keenan Allen has some room, and that's going to be up the seam for the 1st down. Good play there, recognizing the gap in the zone and firing it to Keenan Allen. Red zone alert here, 1st and goal. A running set looking here. We are going to actually bust out of this run set for DJ Moore, looking for him short. It's there. Throw is on time, and there it is for DJ Moore. A little bit of an inaccurate throw, down at his knee, but able to adjust. DJ Moore. And that is a big answer. But remember, if we do win this game, we could drop down around the 13th pick. Might not be the best thing, but it's our division rivals. We have to play. We have to play to win here. It's for some pride. Scott is going to check in for his first things. Scott thrown into space. Does get the grab. A little bit of a blitz off the left side there. And we go up 14-3 on. We're going to check out of this, do a little play action. Looking. And he gets hit, and the ball's on the ground. It's going to be picked up. And it's Van Ness going to the house. And Green Bay is having fun here. Looking at trying to get it out wide there. And that's the ball's down. Ball's down. He is down by contact. Again, we cannot challenge this. This is under 2 minutes to play. And they will say it's a touchdown. Of course, they're going to say it's a touchdown. We have a conspiracy brewing in New York right now. And there it is. Keenan Allen down the sideline, and Keenan Allen tiptoeing. And that is a big play there. Caleb Williams, big strike. Funny part is Carter's not going to be ready. Carter's going to be held out of playing, but he is technically ready to play this week. He's not going to play in real life, but looking for Komet in the end zone here. This is zone. We're going underneath. There it is. Romadunse going, and that's a touchdown. Romadunse. Good 2-minute drill by Caleb. Let's go, baby. Just get the play the defense gives you. It's 21-10. We have an upset brewing here at Lambeau. I don't care if it gives us a pick. It's way too high. This is for pride here. A little bit Swift. Not going to have a lot of room there, but Swift took a hit, though. Roshan. There it is. Not able to get through. And a little bit of push by Jenkins. Caleb is doing absolute work today. Let's put Swift out there. Do a little RPO. Maybe Komet's there. Going. Komet trying to cut it back in and just gets caught up on Rome. Outside zone run. Swift down at the 5. Take care of the football, Caleb. That's all we have to do. We can punch this in. Going for Komet. Komet. There it is. There it is in the end zone. Cole Komet, 28-10. Chicago, let's go. Green Bay is going to score, and then we're going to score again. We have a route going on here in Green Bay.
Now this offense forced to go for it. Down a bunch here in the 4th quarter.
Getting our revenge here. And that's going to be picked. Kyler Gordon. He wants some pride. He wants to take this to the house. And he will. Kyler Gordon. Let's go, baby.
Score a pick six for a Bears touchdown. Little choice, Charles, but to go for it right
The
there.
first game in this division
you don't know how many more possessions
against the Packers.
So really, you're almost at the point of
We lost
options.
off a
You have to
block
go for it.
field
Bottom line,
goal.
though, is
1 point
defenders know
loss
that
in
as
this
well.
one.
They know you
This
gotta
is
throw
a
the football.
statement
Had the right
win
defense called, it
for
would make a
next
nice
year.
play on the ball.
A statement win. Caleb here has played great. Swift in the backfield. Go outside zone. This will take it down to the 2-minute warning. Realistically, though, this does not mean Thomas Jones is staying in Chicago. There's no hope in that one that will happen. It's the hands team. We do have some questions on us, but 42-31
and this is going to be recovered by the hands team. And that should just about put
is a big game. Caleb comes out here and wins this for us
Charles, a lot of
at Lambeau.
heading into the tunnel as this one
But
ends,
there
and
are questions.
so not only did they get the win,
This
but boy,
offensive
their
line
offense
is a
was
struggle
on
bus.
fire in this ball game.
Caleb plays it well, short passing game, finding some holes in the defense. This was one off the back of Caleb Williams.
They certainly were there in this one, huh?
With that in mind, the defense is still a top 10 unit.
The kind of performance that they're going to cherish.
Has some issues, but still top 10 units in this. So we have questions. Where does Bates go on this offensive line? He's the only interior lineman that is on contract for 2025. The other two linemen out of the entire line that's on it is Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright, which means there needs to be probably a 3
for the upcoming playoffs.
interior O-line that need to be found in free agency and the draft. With that in mind, also, there's some questions. There are some questions. Caleb threw it 50 times, 31, 372 to win this. Does throw 2 picks and 3 touchdowns for Jordan Love. Let's actually look at Caleb. 3 touchdowns, 224. 22 of 25 protected the football. We do like it. Rushing, Swift had 164. The receiving end, Keenan Allen with 90 yards. We have a question there. Do we bring him back? He's going on his 12th year. Think he'll be going on 33 by the time the season starts. That's a question. Is Swift the answer in the backfield? With that, Rome is our number 2. Can he stay as number 2? DJ Moore, only 2 passes here. Didn't really pass a lot. It was all in the running game. Sacks. Amagaji playing as a rookie on the left tackle, but I mean, is Jones there? Is he the one that actually has the competition out wide? We also have the interior offense. On defense, Tyreek Stevenson, is he there? Edmonds, not great with that. Dexter Sr. being one of the solidifying himself on the road to being one of the best interior pass rushers, does have a sack. Zach Pickens does have some work to do with that. But it's Kyler Gordon going into what is a contract year in a couple years. Do we sign him? We sign him to a long-term deal with that. And what does that mean for guys like Terrell Smith, a 5th-round pick, or Stevenson, who had that lax of judgment earlier in the year that resulted in a continued downfall after a 4-2 start, a massive losing streak that was snapped with this Green Bay game. Pass deflections. Edwards has been great as well, so there's questions there. With kicking, there's not really a trajectory change for kickers in Madden. So like Cairo Santos has some issues at 45 and beyond of kicking it with a lower trajectory because he's trying to get more oomph on the ball in that. It's not really put in Madden. It's just a kick power thing. So realistic wise, that's one thing we have to worry about in real life. But in Madden, since that doesn't exist, I don't think we're going to play that hard and fast with that. There are questions, though, blocking wise on Tevin Jenkins. We're going to play it like in real life. 22 missed starts in 4 years. 22. He's missed almost a year and a half in total in 4 years. Not great. Realistically, we'll be moving on from Tevin Jenkins. I like him in real life. I hope they actually sign him to a team-friendly deal in real life, or have him compete. I would like to see that, but that is your game. We finish, and that is going to be a question on what we do, because we will definitely be firing Thomas Jones and this coaching staff and revamping it for next season. So the recaps here: Vikings over Detroit. They take the 1 seed from Detroit. So the Lions are down, not doing great. Patriots 4-3. They still get that second overall pick. It's a big one there. Saints moving up to 7-10. That might be a big one. However, the Falcons also lost. So the Falcons look like they're going to be in the playoffs. They hold the tiebreak over Tampa Bay, I think. That is big. Raiders solidifying that. I think that's a second pick there. That's the second overall pick. Depending on the Giants. Giants do lose. Raiders move to the second overall pick, I think. So we have our game here. We move to 5-12. Browns win. Move to 4-13. Beating the Baltimore Ravens. Broncos are in the playoffs still at 9-8. Do get some help elsewhere then. Panthers 5-12. They do move there. So a lot of teams have won that we did not think. That's actually helps us a little bit. Atlanta does end up getting the playoffs, though, even with that loss, looks like. Texans lose. They do lock up the 4 seed, though, in the division. That means the Titans also move up as well. Eagles 13-4. Seattle wins. I don't know what the tiebreaker is here. We'll have to see. Jacksonville loses to the Colts. 9-8, pretty respectable in their season, but still missed the playoffs. Cowboys over the Commanders. Now that is an unknown. We might see a shakeup here, because we have a bunch of 10-7 teams. Pittsburgh beats Cincinnati, so Cincinnati missed the playoffs there. Cardinals over the 49ers, 40-0. Jesus. And the Jets beat the Dolphins, ending the Dolphins' playoff hopes. I don't think the draft has actually moved anywhere. So what we'll see is the Broncos will take on the Bills in Buffalo. The 1 seed's obviously the Chiefs. The Chargers will go to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. In Baltimore will play the Texans in Houston. On the flip side, still an NFC East showdown. It's going to be Washington against the Eagles. I can't believe the number 1 seed goes to Minnesota. This division was so good. A 15-2 Vikings, a 14-3 Detroit, and a 11-6 Packers. That's insane. Green Bay will head to LA to take on the Rams. The Lions, being the 5th seed, at 14-3, the 5th seed, going to take on Atlanta. That's insane. Now that's one thing. If they beat Atlanta in that game, they will have home field advantage here, and then they will have home field advantage if it is the Commanders that go through. So we could see some different stuff from the Lions. Where's the draft order at this point? Draft order has not changed. Wow, with that draft order, that is wow. Okay. So here is your wrap up. Wild card weekend. The Denver Broncos knock out the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen had an MVP worthy year, but is the rookie Bo Nix back behind Sean Payton that beats the Denver Broncos by 10, 30-20. Ravens destroying the Texans yet again. They played week 17, I think. It was another lopsided affair, 38-6. Bobby Slowick there at offensive coordinator needs to figure out what he needs to do. Steelers getting blank checked there. Or not really. They get blanked out of the end zone. 21-6 in that one. Detroit beats the Falcons by 3. Green Bay beating the Rams 35-14, and the Eagles beating the Commanders 22-14 to get some revenge on that week 16 bit of play there. Your impact performers on the day: Jordan Love bouncing back with a great game, 4 touchdowns, 181 yards. So it looks like he had short fields on the day. Josh Allen threw 3 picks in that loss. Lamar Jackson still 245, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. On the rushing, it looked like Derrick Henry took over the game in Houston. Puts up a $152 off 15 carries for 2 touchdowns. So pretty good there. In the receiving departments, it looks like not great receiving days across the board. On defense, pretty decent for Campbell, a couple sacks. Malcolm Rodriguez comes in from left outside linebacker, has a couple of sacks. Surprise performer, so this is really cool with that. Malcolm Rodriguez, Nick Benito, Fatakasi here with 2 sacks for Houston in that loss. Bo Nix went 99 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not a great day for the rookie, but they do win the day. Jaden Daniels, 205, 1 touchdown. And Ladd McConkley, second round pick, 100 yards off 6 receptions, no touchdowns. Here is your weekly leaders on the day. Nothing crazy there. Injury report, there's going to be some injury portions there. Nothing insane. I might have to tone down the injuries just a little bit with that one. So there is your bracket so far. Lions still in it. We don't know what the ultimate goal for this is. Let's generate the weather for this one. So give me a good generation. Make sure the injury fix is on. And there it goes with that. We'll have to see. I might have to run another tool, I think. All right, your divisional round. The Broncos took on the Chiefs and beat Mahomes in Kansas City. The magical run of Bo Nix continues at this point, 27-20. Packers just destroy the Vikings 33-6. Lions lose to the Eagles 27-19. So the run of Ben Johnson is done. And the Ravens beat the Steelers 35-24. Bo Nix, better day today, 205 with 3 touchdowns. Pretty good. Lamar Jackson had a $164, 3 touchdowns with that. Russell Wilson still working at 249, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. For the rushing, it was Emmanuel Wilson in there doing some work. Najee Harris, a $104. George Pickens, 8 receptions, a $124, 1 touchdown. 2 sacks by Tillery. DJ Jones coming in with 3 sacks for the Broncos. Chris Jones, 12 tackles from a defensive tackle. Surprise performances. Emmanuel Wilson with this. Samaje Perine at 70 yards and a touchdown. Troutman with 6 receptions, 45 yards, 2 touchdowns. Top rookies. Edric Estmine has 83 yards off 13 carries. And Taron Arnold, playing for the Lions, 9 tackles, 1 pass deflection. Your weekly leaders, if you really care about that. Injury reports, not as much. We do have to run that. Vikings lose Justin Jefferson from a torn tricep there. That is not great for them. So here is your Pro Bowl roster here. I don't expect there to be much of a shocker in a lot of these. Saquon wins it as halfback 1. Garrett Wilson, the AFC. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in particularly crazy at this point. Rookie Zach Frazier wins it for the Steelers, the AFC. Joe Alt, another rookie at right tackle, wins it for the Chargers. Turner there at right end. I think he's a rookie, right? Which I was hoping the Bears could have got, but it just was not meant to be in that. Brian Burns coming through there. So yeah, so nothing particularly shocking at all. So here we go. Super Bowl weekend. And it is the Ravens over the Broncos 27-13 in that matchup. It is the Packers beating the Eagles 27-20. It will be a Packers-Ravens Super Bowl. That hurts my soul. So, your Super Bowl champion, as I blind you, is none other than the Green Bay Packers. They beat the Ravens 30-22. Yeah, that hurts my soul. They did play in a dome, so there's that. Your big thing for this upcoming season after this, Trent Williams is retiring after 15 years. Zach Martin is retiring from the Cowboys. Mario Davis from the Saints. Tyron Smith is retiring after 14 years. David Bakhtiari, Bobby Wagner, Stephon Gilmore, Brandon Sharif. Kirk Cousins is opting to retire, so it will be Michael Penix taking over that quarterback room. Morgan Moses, so both tackles in New York for the Jets are retiring. Calais Campbell, Nick Folk, Cameron Jordan, Graham Glasnow, so that is a big one. Cornelius Lucas. Aaron Rodgers is retiring after 20 years. After taking that injury, he is going to call it quits. Just not a good year for him. They're going to look for a quarterback likely in the draft. Brandon Graham, Thomas Morstead, Lincoln Tomlinson. There is a lot of big. Russell Wilson is also retiring. Shelby Harris, Mercedes Lewis, retiring after 19 seasons. Jason Peters, Pat Pete, Ronnie McLeod, Cordell Patterson after 12 years. Riley Reef struggled with some injuries late in his career. Jerry Hughes, Tyrod Taylor. So the Jets have no quarterbacks on their roster currently. Chris Conley after 10 years. Brent Urban after 11. Neville Joseph, Melvin Gordon. Mike Pinnell. Gonna free up a little bit there. Jimmy Graham, although I thought he was retired for a long time at this point. Curtis Grisau, former Bear center. Brian Hoyer, Josh Johnson, AJ McCarron in there. Just kind of looking through it to see if there's anything. Patrick Scales. So that's nothing crazy in that. Upcoming free agents. I mean, there's some good upcoming free agents at this point. So you have to really think about a lot of this stuff. Shadir Sanders struggles to make an impact at the All-Star game. He's still positioned number 1 in the rank, but that is interesting. Todd Campbell dominating the defense in the college All-Star game. So that is a big one. Defensive player of the year for the AFC is Myles Garrett. MVP for 2024 is Lamar Jackson. Saquon Barkley gets the NFC Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously, Rookie of the Year for NFC goes to Jaden Daniels. Defensive Rookie of the Year in the AFC goes to Kamari Lassiter. So that's some big stuff there. The Packers, our rivals, take it all. How this kind of sets up for this, I'm going to put this down to CPU because I just realized I can actually hire coordinators. So I don't really need to worry about that, which is really cool. So let's look at how this goes in staff week. All right, we do Stats Matter tool. So let's do the Stats Matter tool in this. So we'll run the Stats Matter tool. We'll apply the rating edits with this. So here is your changes. A couple of bumps up. George Kittle up to a 99. Caleb Williams up to an 84. Jamar Chase up to a 97. Myles Garrett getting better and better. Nick Chubb taking a hit, goes from 86 to a 76. It's a pretty big fall off there. Kyler Murray 80 to 76. So not the greatest here. But there are a couple shockers. It's moving up. Zach Ertz 73 to a 79. Jonathan Allen regresses down. Same thing with Deron Payne. Not a lot in that offensive line bit. I'm sorry for that flickering. I'm not sure what's going on. But probably OBS. So pretty good for the Eagles and a lot of their moves there. So we'll have to see if there's anything insane. So we just ran a Stats Matter tool. Remove all injuries. Okay, so we need to remove all injuries. The motivations, so this is more the motivations. We'll generate those. We need to go clear cap space. Oh, yes, I want to exempt mine because I want to do mine myself. Here is your released guys. Any shockers here that I would say are insane? Sam Hubbard, who's 30. Good savings there. Alex Cap, who's 30. Tyson Anderson. Oh, he's not up there. AJ Espinoza. That might be something that we move to and make a play on. A couple of restructures as well. The Browns. Bud Dupree. Austin Eckler and his time there in the Commanders is done. Tyreek Hill, good one there. Terran Armstead. Tua gets a restructured. Bradley Chubb. So Dolphins trying to retain a lot of their talent there. Kenny Pickett is released at that point. Jadeveon Clowney is released. We're looking at anyone that would be big, and that's Gardner Minshew. I think they're done with him. Saints doing some restructuring. They need to do it. Derek Carr will be returning to the Saints. So that is an interesting bit of play. Leonard Williams gets a restructured. Nwosu. Preston Smith from the Steelers is released. That is a lot of savings there. So that is your release. We'll look at ours as we go through. And then export season data if we want to. I'm going to export the season data because I want to. And that will be what we need to do every time we look at the tool and we need to look at this. So with that in mind, it is time to make our own cuts and looks, but also our own staff hirings. So let's do this. Season rewards, let's look at it displayed here. Coach of the Year is Kevin O'Connell. Offensive Player of the Year, the Bengals, Jamar Chase. Defensive Player of the Year, Andrew Van Ginkel. Yeah, he had a great year with the Vikings. Jaden Daniels gets Rookie of the Year, and Jared Verse gets Rookie of the Year for the Rams on the defensive side. So that is actually pretty big. Corey Ballantyne gets the MVP for that. So we're going to fill staff. Now we have questions. In Chicago right now, the idea is, will Kevin Warren retain Brian Poles? If he does Ben Johnson come to Chicago? If he's not retained, maybe Ben Johnson wants Agnew, who's the assistant GM, I think, or assistant player personnel, maybe he's official player personnel in for the Lions. Maybe that's the bit. But we're not going to worry about GM kind of tying that through because we're going to take the coach after this. We're going to take, instead of Kevin Warren, I'm going to retire this and take over as Ben Johnson for the Bears so we can't be fired because this is a Bears franchise-wise. So the idea with this is we're going to go with Ben Johnson. We need an offensive coach here. The variable comes in but really doesn't do a lot of stuff with us. It's time for a change in Chicago. The idea was that we needed some changes here. And so we're going to go with it. Now, Joe Brady was out there, had a great year with Josh Allen, but I think we're gonna pull in. Matt Nagy would be funny. I know some of these are kind of messed up on the pictures. We're gonna hire Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is our head coach of the Chicago Bears and his offensive coordinator. We're gonna bring in someone who has ran that system. Now, obviously, we don't have quarterbacks coach, so I'm gonna pull in Chris Beatty. He's gonna stay as our technical guy who is teaching Caleb Williams with this. We can't have anything crazy. A defensive coordinator. It'd be funny if we went Matty Reflus. We're gonna pull in Robert Saleh. This is probably my dream team here, as we have our defensive coordinator, we have Chris Beatty being more of a quarterbacks coach, and Ben Johnson will be calling the plays in Chicago. This is a big change from what the Bears have done historically, and there is your new head coach of the Chicago Bears. First, let's do this press conference. Let's see it. The offseason in Chicago, we're at Hallis Hall, taking some reporters. Well, hey everyone, let's talk about the next few months. It does not look like Ben Johnson, but it works. What's your plan for the upcoming offseason? I think we're gonna make a splash. We're gonna make a splash and upgrade the roster. Any specific position or overall talent? Just overall talent. We're gonna put more talent on this team, especially the O-line, and we're gonna win in the trenches. It's gonna be on offense. Do you feel confident that you can improve the talent by training camp through free agency? Yes, I'm confident that we can do that through free agency and the draft. We'll check back in training camp and see how you did. Oh. You just trade for a signed offensive starter with an overall rating of at least 85. We could do that. We could do that. I think I'm going to fail that, but we could do that. So we're looking at a lot of our roster here, and I feel good at the quarterback position, but also halfback, I feel good. Let's look at this from a finances standpoint. I think we're good. Tyson Bagent might be extended. We might look to trade. I think at this point, though, I'm not looking at a re-signing here. So I'm going to, I mean, he hits free agency anyway, so that's not really a big deal. A couple of years left. Scott isn't really going to give us any savings. Carter's out. Samaji Tori doesn't really cost anything against us. There's no cap casualties there. The thing is, Everett, we take a short. I think this is a cap casualty for us. Gerald Everett is out. We'll save $5 million. We'll take a penalty of $1 million, but I think we have to go another way at tight end. Right guard, Glazer is here. I'm going to also cut him as we go through. Matt Pryor, we might look at bringing him back, but really, at right guard, we're not particularly big. Rookie Stromberg, rookie out of Arkansas, was drafted by Washington. I think we'll retain him. He's a actual center at this point. We have no one that can play center. I think I'm going to change him over because he should be center. He should be a center. He was drafted as one. So at least we have one center that's likely on the roster. Stromberg being on the practice squad. Ryan Bates. Now, we do take some savings here. Now, he is 28. I think we're going to keep him on for right now. At left tackle, Amaghazi, Braxton Jones, we take really nothing doing that, but we get nothing, no real savings in that. DeMarcus Walker, we get a lot of savings with this. I do not think this is one of those where you try to trade him, otherwise you cut him before the end of the year. So we'll keep him on the roster itself. At DT, not a lot of penalties. I think I like Andrew Billings. We saw a little bit of play from Pickens. I thought he played well. But I think we are going to make this move. We're going to keep Billings. There's no penalty. So let's keep Billings on the roster. Darnell Taylor, Dominic Robinson. There's no real savings. Maybe this is a trade target. Robinson, Darnell Taylor, we have to worry about that. TJ Edwards, keeping him on at this point. He's been one of our best players. Tremaine Edmonds, still a possibility, has 2 years left. We don't want to take this hit. I think this might be a trade target. We have to worry about Jack Sanborn also. Sewell is a draft pick. At corner, Tyler Gordon is here. Jalen Jones is unknown with that. Terrell Smith, Kirk Stevenson. There's no real savings in here. Then at safety. Here is the real question. We get some savings from Byard here, but it's just like, what do we really do here? Byard's played well. I think we keep him. And here, Brisker's here. Hicks. I think we keep Hicks. Owens here. I think we keep him as well. I think we go in with that. Not really a savings here at kicker and at punter. Torrey Taylor is a rookie. So that will be our casualties on that. But nothing big with that. We didn't do a whole lot of stuff. I'll tell you the extensions when we go through this because I didn't actually show you the transactions. So our transactions here for the Bears, what we ended up doing is... All right, so our re-signings that we put through for the team. So Jay Curhan returns a 1 year, $1.6 million deal to kind of solidify right tackle and guard position if we need him. Larry Borum, 1.7 to be a backup at tackle and guard. Jack Sanborn returns 2 year, $8.2 million, so about 4.1 to be our left outside linebacker. And Darnell Taylor stays for a 3 year, $18.6 million deal. So nothing crazy with that, only about 6 to 7 million. It's there. Stephon Diggs is franchise tagged from there. So Sam Darnold for 60. Oh, Jesus. Okay, Deontay Johnson, Son Reddick, Greenlaw, Chris Godwin, Trent Brown, Amari Cooper, Javonte Williams. Okay, looking through. What I don't see, which is insane. Trey Smith, there it is. Center. Humphreys is available. Okay, Becton does stay. Dahlman does stay. Okay, that's going to be something that we're going to have to pick up. And Ryan Staley does stay, so is Tyler London Bombs. Okay, Aaron Jones does stay. T. Higgins, that's a big one. Todd Monken goes to the Lions. Thomas Brown goes to the Ravens to help out that Ravens offense. So let's look at the combine here. The quarterback, do we have anything crazy? Probably not, to be honest. Okay, we're looking for a probable late round receiver. We're down here in like Kieran Lacey. Down here is 24 though. Jaden Royals or somewhere down here. That's 6 foot and can do a little work. 6'5", 6'5". Jaden Royals, who's 6 foot, 205, 4.37. That might be something that we can go for. It's later in the rounds. That might be good. Elijah Badger, who's 6'1", does run a 4.4. Gus Jackson of Washington. Jimmy Horn, Colorado. There's a couple of good guys showing there at receiver in the later rounds. Tight end, we're not going to get one of the tightest ones. If we we're to go somewhere, it would be Luke Lackey from Iowa. Iowa is just great at pulling in good receiving backs. So that would be my bit there. Let's look at right tackle. Wow, okay. Sav is doing absolute work here. Emory Jones, 3rd ranked here. He's 93rd in overall rank. That might be something as well that might have to be. Oh, I could change this. Hold on a second, guys. I'm hoping that kind of changes the flicker. If it doesn't, then I'll have to do it a different way. So it's pretty good. Emory Jones does pull out 31 bench press. So I put some pretty high in bench press. I think that's pretty good there. At right guard, Ratledge. Okay, Zach Rice in North Carolina has some pretty good. But Jaden Roberts here falling down a little bit. At center, I just don't see that we're gonna go away like from this. Like there's not a lot of centers. I'm hoping Humphreys is there. Tyler Booker is probably my highest guard in the draft. At this point, overall is a 46 rank. This does good bench press, so pretty strong. So I do like that. Donovan Jackson is probably the more realistic for a 2nd round pick. Take in that. The idea is, do we go here? Do we go Will Banks? Or Will Banks? Well, I just merged Campbell and Banks into same. Banks or Campbell? First 3 is down here. This would be a good one. Josh Simmons. I see them kicking inside. Connerly has played tackle his entire time, but I feel like this could be more of a switch inside. Do we have an edge? Carter is stronger and is faster. Is he more dynamic also? I'm gonna shuttle. Yes. This man is... Abdul Carter looks like an absolute steal. Not up there as high though. Man, Nick's drive his... Okay, yeah, let's do it. Hold on, guys. Okay, we shouldn't have that issue anymore. As long as I don't move this, we'll be good. Okay. So I feel like... JT's here. Probably taken in the 2nd round. Landon Jackson. The DT. Nolan is bounced up there. Mason Graham could be there. That's funny because I don't think that's Mason Graham. Some of the pictures are a little messed up, but it is what it is. Mason Graham. Oh, you know what? They're broken in here. but they're fine in the game. Okay, that's fine. I'm thinking we get James Pierce here. Probably going to go in the top 5. Mikael Williams. I've also seen a little bit from Perkins, maybe. Maybe he's an outside linebacker. There's also corner. Travis Hunter going 6th. Will Johnson. What about the safeties? Maybe free safety. Watts is going to be the top safety on it. And it's not Malachi Starks. Malachi Moore might be a good late round safety to grab. Okay, so we have some things to really consider in this. All right, free agency 1. We need to adjust the trade block and do that. So give me a second. All right, so we're going to adjust the trade block here. We are not going to exclude from us. We'll adjust the trade block. We'll allow that. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make sure my guys on my team are still on the trade block. That will be our contribution. So let's go trade lottery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up allowing any trades for any players that are here, but I'm going to remove the teams where it seems a little weird. Now they're not in cap hell. Deebo Samuel is not leaving from there. I don't think Javaris Ward's leaving from the 49ers. And Juwan Jennings. Something will be the change there. I can see Jacoby Myers. Hassan Riddick has been tagged, and this has historically some issues. Evan Neal at right tackle. DeMarcus Walker. Chad Muma. Okay. And this one. So let's run the lottery and see how this goes. So we'll just have to tamper down if there's any issues. The Browns give up a 4th round pick for Jacoby Myers. Browns just selling the team. And San Fran goes in for Hassan Riddick, just getting even better. The 30-year-old, it gives him a 5th and a 6th round pick. Evan Neal goes to the Cardinals for 4th round. We trade DeMarcus Walker to Washington for a 7th round pick, so we get that off. Chad Muma goes to the Patriots, and Dominic Robinson, from the trade from Hassan Reddick, he gets for the 49ers and Washington trading for DeMarcus Walker. We actually have to retain Dominic Robinson for another year. So that is an unfortunate event. We need to do free agency 1 and go through free agency at this point. It's like, all right, let's sign free agents. What we have to do is center.
And overall interest. You have 3
Kevin Zeitler's in here. Our number 1 need is center. Ryan Kelly's out here. Jonah Jackson at 28. That is interesting. Jonah Jackson. All right, so for our bids, let's look at the signings for right now. We've done all 3 rounds. The signings so far: Kevin Zeitler to the Steelers, Jonathan Jones to the Ravens, Milton Williams to the Cards, and Matthew Judon to the Cards. That's the Panthers. Milton Williams to the Panthers. So nothing crazy. Kevin Zeitler gets gets an $18 million deal. That for a year. Okay. For my targets, James Daniels, we are the 2nd highest in this one. I'm gonna bump this up to about 10-5. Let's go to 11 right here for James Daniels. Baker, I think I'm still gonna bump this up to about, well, we have the cap space for it. say like 8 million. Wharton, we're still the best in. Benjamin say Juice. Tutu Atwell still there. We're good. Jonah Jackson for center. Kavorde Turpin. Jeff Okuda. Harrison Bryant. Joe Flacco as a mentor QB. And then Trey Sermon. So we're all good there. Let's go to the next week and see what we can do with this. The trade that we did have gives us a 4th round pick that we can trip. We don't have a 4th round pick naturally. So that's one thing we do have to remember. We have more retirements. Lane Johnson retires. Okay. Got a couple more in there. So now the Eagles are going to look for a tackle. Travis Hunter looks like he's going to be top 1. When we look at this, Banks falls. Oh, Donovan Jackson goes up. So Booker might be available. Monum falls. That might be a draft pick. Ratledge falls. Wow. Sav might be there in day 3. That might be a steal. Okay, see if anyone else has fallen. JT's fallen probably in the 2nd round. Carter's only gotten better. Princely's moved down. Kennard's moved down likely in day 3 or 4, a late round pick. Walker in the 2nd round might be a stretch. I mean, Bear Carter, 2nd round. That might be what we go for there. Dropping a little bit. See it here. Watts has fallen. It's going to give us probably a good bit. Malachi Moore drops as well. Okay, Genty's at 9. Gordon drops. Johnson's probably going to be a 2nd or 3rd rounder. But I'm fine with going like Jaden Otter Singleton if we need to. For receiver, this is the biggest one. Burden's dropping the 30. On moves up to 40. The guy we're looking at was what, Royals, I think? Yeah, we're not going that high on a receiver. Let's see where the mock draft puts everyone. Drew Sanders going 1, Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Mikael Williams, James Pierce at 6. Still TJ Sanders. I don't think we go TJ Sanders. Malachi Starks, Genty the Cowboys. Okay. That is brutal. Jackson going. Jones. Booker still going in the 1st round is actually really big. Abdul Carter still at 3 is crazy. This is going to be a defensive heavy draft. I'm going to have a lot of questions this. All right, free agency, the signing, see if anyone else signed. Justin Fields is going to Tennessee. Is Tennessee not taking a quarterback? That is big. Fields going to Tennessee. I can see that happening. Carlton Davis goes to Green Bay. That's going to be rough. Ryan Kelly to the Rams. So that kind of cuts down everything. 3 years. What is that? 3-year 30. Oh, that's about 13 million. Cam Robinson to, wow, that is a big freaking contract. That's damn near 20 a year. Tony Blackman can afford. Grady Jarrett going to Washington. That's actually a pretty good one there. DJ Wanham. Okay. My sign is we get in the sweepstakes of James Daniels. He's coming back to the Bears. Should have never let him go in the first place. James Daniels going to be playing some right guard for us. Jerome Baker, we win the Jerome Baker sweepstakes. It is about $9 million a year. I'm fine with this, playing Jerome Baker in the middle. Tutu Atwell joins us, going to be our slot receiver. It'll be flipping out between him and Scott. And Jonah Jackson comes in to play center with Caleb Williams. That is some good stuff. We want to build through the draft, but also be smart about this. All right, we're going to add in Kavontae Turpin to field punts. Najee Harris to New England. That is realistic as hell right there. Tevin Jenkins is going to the Raiders. Okay. It's a big contract. Almost $17 million a year. Yeah. Oh my God. This is going to hurt my soul. DeAndre Hopkins to the Lions. Oh, why do you... Oh, my God. Why? I don't want to talk about it. It hurts my soul, bro. That hurts so much, bro. Because we're going to need... many signings. Where'd he go to? Because he fell off my list. Can't. Bro, this hurts. Keenan Allen, you've betrayed me. That's some. Wharton goes to the Seahawks. All right. Benjamin St. Juste comes to us, plays corner. We get Jonah Jackson to play center. Derek Nandi in for at defensive tackle. We get Jeff Okudah, Harrison Bryant, Joe Flacco, and Trey Sermon. We are pretty good. I think that is all that we want with this. This is going to be a hectic draft. I need a pass rusher. That's likely what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with a pass rusher probably. Let's start it. Let's see what happens. We're going to go slow through the first round just to see how this goes.
Every career starts as a dream, a belief that someday you'll join the greats and line up next to them on the same field in the same league. That dream required incredible sacrifice.
Need a drink.
Just to even make it to this point. For the coaches and teams of this league, they dream of the right player that changes everything for their franchise. Tonight, those dreams collide. Welcome to Madden's NFL Draft.
All right, here we go. Who is going to go 1 overall? The Giants are on the clock. And it starts. We are picking at 8. Do the Giants go a quarterback? They will take Shedeur Sanders with the first overall pick in the NFL draft. Is once again a quarterback. Shedeur Sanders out of University of Colorado. Kind of a no-brainer pick. We all know they're going to pick Shedeur Sanders. More than likely. Remember, though, in this world, Cam Ward is the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. From here, it's going to get garbled up. You have no idea what is going to go on. The Jaguars are on the clock. And the Jaguars will take Cam Ward. That is a shocker. The Jaguars at 2 will take a quarterback after paying that much. The fans are not happy with this pick. They just paid big money to Trevor Lawrence. And the pick is Cam Ward. Are they moving on? Will we see a trade of Trevor Lawrence in the future? The Raiders are on the clock. They needed a quarterback. They will not get one. They will go with Abdul Carter, the best defensive player available. Abdul Carter at 3. So that makes sense for them. Don't want to reach for a quarterback. Maybe Milroe falls down in the draft, maybe in that they're going to take a risk. They could go another way. Remember, though, Tennessee has made Justin Fields their quarterback, at least a bridge quarterback. So at least that is one. Drake May is already in New England. Let's see what the next pick is. Mason Graham. Honestly, I think they needed to go receiver. And we see Travis Hunter falling down the board. If Travis Hunter is there at 8, do we take him? That would be insane. But I don't think he's going to be there. I think he's going to be drafted before then. It is on Cleveland. They are messed up in the draft at this point. No one knows what they're going to do. They take Jalen Milroe. The Raiders do not have a quarterback. What are the moves here? We're going to stop the draft here and we're going to look at this. What are the moves? Looking at our Madden football tool here, the idea with this has to be for the Raiders. They do not have it's Tyler Huntley is their quarterback. I don't know what they are doing with this. Micah Williams becomes the Panthers draft. Now that is obviously something that is likely going to happen in real life. Them taking a lineman might be Mason Graham if he falls that far, but Kyle Williams, after trading Brian Burns, you have to do that. Now Justin Fields is the quarterback in Tennessee. Let's see who the pick is. No offensive linemen have come off the board. It's going to be James Pierce. Could we trade back? Could we have the dream trade back here? From 8, pick up a second round pick and do the dream that I want to do, that I want the Bears to do in real life. If we could do it and pick up a guard, that would be insane. Can we get a second round pick? A future first round pick. A future that's next year's first round pick. Fall down to 22, get a pick here, and we get it. We could go a big one. We're not trading with the Packers because screw them. Pick 10. We pick up a third pick. We go back 2 spots. This is the dream pick right here. The 49ers want to move up 2 spots. It is left tackle or left tackle. Why do I keep on thinking left tackle Overton? It's LT Overton is the pick for the 49ers. He's an outside linebacker, right? I think left outside linebacker, I think. I could be wrong with that. Left outside linebacker. Jets. Remember, they had Aaron Rodgers actually go in and retire. Let's look at the Jets really fast. They have Jordan Travis at quarterback. Will they reach for a quarterback in this? It's Quentin Ewers. Oh my God. What is this draft? The Jets reach up and take Ewers in the first round. Is this a Michael Penix moment? Even though I think Penix will actually do pretty well with the Falcons. I am shocked here. Bringing up the guy from Texas. And we still don't have an offensive lineman off. Go back to pick 17, pick up a third rounder. Go back to pick 14 and pick up a third rounder. Right now, are 2 guys that are not off the board. I'm going to pick up a third rounder. We are going to use these to trade back up into the second round more than likely. Okay, we're at 14. This is crazy that this happened. Nick Scorton goes. That's not one of our guys, so I'm fine with this. We are taking an offensive lineman. I've decided it now. and we will likely trade up into the first round. If not, we have a couple of third-round picks that we can get some rookies to slot in some good places. That's a good pick, though, for the Cardinals, moving up and taking that. The Saints. The Saints take Travis Hunter. The Saints. Travis Hunter has fallen to 11th in the draft. And it's there. There's Jalen Walker to the Bengals. Kenneth Grant. And we are going to make our selection here at 14. And it will be the top 10 pick has fallen himself. We're going to take Will Campbell to slot into the guard position. Abdul Carter never fell to us, so that wasn't an actual thing that we could have done. Walker is there. We'll take in. I'm kind of hoping that JT falls there. But we're going to take him. Will Campbell is going to be our pick. He has fallen out of the top 10. I think this is best case scenario. Let's take him out of LSU. Welcome to the Chicago Bears. Will Campbell falling down to 14th, able to trade back twice to get additional picks. Twice to get additional picks. That is massive for us. That is massive. We get the player that we want to slide in to guard. We bring back James Daniels. It's an A+. He was ranked true talent number 6 for us. What a pick. What a pick. All right. Will Johnson goes to 15. Wow. Will Johnson, arguably better at corner than Travis Hunter. But Travis Hunter is just a better player on both sides of the ball. JT goes at 16. That is something that we're going to have to look for. We are not going to get a pass rusher this year. Let's look at the draft board. My head is hurting thinking about this. Just as long as Princely's not taken, but I'm fine with Kyle Kennard, but I think Princely's not taken. He is probably the one that we want most of all. But Jahad Campbell is still here too. All right, see if Dallas just took Ashton Genty. Okay, that makes sense. Dallas there at 17, taking Ashton Genty. Him falling to the 17 is probably criminal, but there. Calvin Banks goes at 18. I feel like we have the best lineman though. Deion Walker out of Kentucky. Benjamin Morrison corner goes there. Josh Simmons left tackle goes to the Rams. McMillan, that is a good big weapon for Jesus, what's his name? I'm blanking. Jaden Daniels. The Chargers take Shamir Stewart. Okay. Cameron Williams, right tackle, goes to the Bills. Carson Beck will learn behind Russell. Wait, they don't have Russell Wilson. Do they really have Russell Wilson? I love being able to do this because I can look at it. No, they don't. So we're going to have a new starter. Carson Beck is going to be the starter for the Steelers. Oh my God, that is worst case scenario. Oh my God. Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, St. Brown, Jameson, Nidbuka. Oh my God, that is disastrous. Dylan Everett. Okay. KC is going to go Emory Jones. That's a good pick for KC. Derek Harmon, TJ Sanders, Donovan Jackson. That's a good pick. I don't know that previous pick though. It was Green Bay's selection. Jake Majors out of Texas. Okay. I think I can wait until we hit this. Tyler Booker. Okay, that's a good. Malachi Starks. Dylan Gabriel is going to be the quarterback for the Raiders. Jude Campbell, please don't do it to me. Thank you. Thank you. I can make my selection. It's going to be Princely. I'm going to try to pronounce this. And Muleman. And me. I don't know. Out of Ole Miss. Pretty good player, I think. We're going to take him. And this is a big one. We get a pass rusher that comes in. And we'll see what we can do. 23 years old. Good speed rusher off the edge. Welcome to Chicago, and we'll see if he can be our next big pass rusher. Maybe Sweat can get some stuff from the outside. That is a good bit. We are loving it. And we'll see what we can do. He's going to start immediately on the outside. 58, we took him at 32. Doesn't like him. That's fine. All right, so we have the Titans straddling us here. Titans take Jack Sawyer. So we have multiple picks. Loveland is still here as a tight end. That is insane. Burden's here as well. That could be something. I'm gonna pause this because I want to be able to actually talk to you, and the time just isn't actually going through. Okay, making my selection here. I'm thinking Caleb Johnson in the 3rd round. This would be criminal. If we could take Isaiah Bond here. That would be freaking criminal. But I think the key here, though, is we take, let's center 3rd. Millam might be something. Then it's all about if we put Jones kind of on an island. I'm not very good at anyone other than this. Maybe Nolan. Earl Perkins of LSU. That might be a good one. Trey Amos. There's pretty good corners here still. Watts is going to be my free safety that I'm going to bring in. But it's got to be best player available. And I'm sorry, but best player available literally means Luther Burden or Isaiah Bond. Oh, I'm telling you, we have to take Luther Burden here. If he falls in the 2nd round, I mean, this is a must, right? I mean, let's take a look at this from our receiver standpoint. So we're going into next year with DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Tutu Atwell is my 3. Turpin, who's 29, Tyler Sky's 23 in his contract year, and Torre is 27. I think this is a no-brainer at this. On the flip side, contract year for Braxton Jones, who's a 77 overall, going in a star. I'm sorry, he's fallen this far. Luther Burden, welcome to Chicago. I think this is a good pick. We have 4 good receivers. We have multiple 3rd round picks. Luther Burden, welcome to Chicago. Y'all might hate me in the comments section over that pick, but if Luther Burden falls there in the 2nd round, it has to be best player available, right? I'm thinking it has to be. He's number 5 in true talent. He fell to us at 40. Hey, you gotta make that. You gotta make that. All right, the Jets will take Nick Amawari. Okay. Tate Ratledge goes to the 49ers. Harold Perkins. Loveland to the Bengals. That's a good bit for Joe Burrow. Rod Moore, that is your... No, they retained Javon Holland. Okay. Omar Norman Lott. Marion Hampton. Okay, he's going to be behind Marlon Mack. Zach Rice to the Bucks. Isaiah Bond. What a pick. Isaiah Bond staying in Texas and playing. Is Isaiah Bond is from Texas, right? I'm not crazy. Last time I think he's from Texas. No, he's from Georgia. So there's a couple states off. I mean, that's a big one. Staying in Texas. Tyler Warner of the Seahawks. Judkins, okay, I could see that. Trey Harris. Trevin Revel, that's going to be a good secret. Ursery to the Lions at 58 is a steal. And Millam to the Bills, that's another. And Caleb Johnson is taken by KC. That is the pick. That was my pick. That was my pick in the 3rd round. I don't know who the Packers just picked. Green Bay selects Jackson Dart of Ole Miss. Okay, they just need to back up. All right, 74. I think we can wait for this pick. I don't think we need to trade up or anything. Ollie Gordon. Okay. Josh Connerly, that's a good tackle. Good round. Singleton. Nolan. And here is our pick. So kind of our halfbacks have all taken. Kind of sucks, but I think we're going to take Jade Knott out of California here. Good receiving back. We'll see what he can do. Also, we do have Raheem Sanders. We could do a Raheem Sanders type deal. That would be interesting. We don't need Royals because Burton fell to us there. Is there any guards where I'm like, that is someone that I want? Sav we can get in a different portion. Tyleek Williams might be a 3rd round pick for us too. Watts is still here. I think we take Watts. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take the free safety. Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. Local, well, not really local, but local kid here coming in. We need a safety in case Brisker does get another concussion or in the case of Kevin Byron leaving after this year, we need some insurance, and he will be our starter going into next season, the following season at that. So that is a big, that's a good one. He's 95. We drafted him at 72. I think that's pretty good for a pick. Now we have one other pick here. Alfred Collins is taken here. I'm going to make my selection. Here it is going to be the running back out of California, Jaden Ott. This is a good pick here. Jaden Ott, welcome to Chicago. Roshan Johnson in a contract here, I believe, this year. We have Swift, possibly an out after this year. Jaden Ott might be the guy in Chicago. We'll have to see. I think we also get Raheem Sanders probably in a 7th round pick or a 6th round pick. We have 3 7ths, so that might be one. He's 55 in true value. We got him at 74. That is a good one there. Jaden Ott, welcome to Chicago. Now, what do we do with this other 3rd round pick? There's Tyleek Williams. I was looking at probably picking him up. That does suck. Tez Johnson is picked there. Let's see if there's another defensive tackle that I want to take. That is probably what I would look. Not anything that I'm big on here. Can Kennard play in the inside? No, he's not heavy enough. Landon Jackson out of Arkansas might be able to do it. Or do we go Sav? Or do we go Sav? Maybe Deontay Lawson out of Alabama. He could play in the middle. Be a guy that could help us a little bit in getting some depth. Here is a 3rd round pick. Or Derry Barron. Derry Barron might be something that is intriguing out of that. Let's, you know what? Let's take, Seb's going to be there for our next pick. I think we take a pick at Deontay Lawson out of Alabama. We put him in the middle in case we need him. And I think this is a good rookie take in the 3rd round after trading back. And I feel like the trade that we had and some of the free agency moves that we've made, we've actually solidified a lot of positions in the 3rd round with potential. Not stars, but potential in that. So I'm feeling good. He's at 164. We got him at 68. It's a C minus, but ultimately that is nothing big. So 3rd round, I'm going to keep on going in this slowly until we finish this. There's Darian Porter, Lukandra. I wish I could like tab through and see the previous rounds. Landon Jackson goes there. New England 84. Sav is my next one that I'm going to take. There's Kyle Kennard of the Browns. On Sab. Anthony Belton. Jari Barron. That's a good one for the Chiefs there at 92. Bailey. Jordan Birch. I don't know what the Packers took. We don't have a 4th round pick. Let's skip to my next user pick there. It's the 5th. Malachi Moore goes there. That's unfortunate. Let's make my selection. We have no trade proposals for this. Well, Sav, are you still here? He is not. That's unfortunate. Monham's here, but as a 5th round, I don't think that's probably a good bit. Lackey is here. It's a 4th round. Let's bring in Lackey. Lackey, a 4th round pick here. Out of Iowa. Iowa is just a good pedigree of pass catching tight ends. And we'll see how he does here in Chicago. I'm expecting some 2 tight end sets, things like that in Ben Johnson's offense, and some good blocking from these guys. So we need to see what we have in that. We get him at 136. He is 210. We're not going to look at their ratings right now until we get through. All right, let's skip ahead to my next pick. And here we are in the 6th round. No trades. We're going to have to take a player here. Trevor Etienne is here. Do we take another running back? Why is Gray fallen? That is one thing that someone needs to explain to me, is why is he here? Tommy Hill in Nebraska. Billy Bowman plays more of a safety. We could go Klubiak. Klubiak, I do want... To be honest, I want to know why Joshua Quay is falling. I'm going to take him out of Oregon State. Let's see where he's at. The crowd is not happy with it, but I'm happy with the pick. That's why he's not good. Okay, thanks. So I have 3 7th round picks. Lubick's gone. Damn it. That's unfortunate. Do I go Tonka Hemingway here? I think I would go Billy Bowman. There we go, Billy Bowman. Or Kobe Bryant. This is a tough question. Will Howard out of Ohio State? You know what? Let's do that. Let's take Will Howard out of Ohio State with this pick. The 7th round pick. That kid was taken by the Cardinals there. Then let's go. Elijah Badger out of Florida, maybe. Let's do that. Let's go Elijah Badger out of Florida. Decent pick. And then we're going to make our last selection in the 2025 draft will be The Chicago Bears. Tonka Hemingway. I think it's got to be Tonka Hemingway. Out of South Carolina. Doesn't have a picture, but it's a good one there. Tonka Hemingway coming in. We played a little bit of him in our South Carolina franchise. I think it could be fun. And that will be your draft for this season. Let's skip ahead to the end of the draft, and that is a big draft. That first round was crazy. I have to figure out if I need to run anything else here. Let's look at the draft recap for us. We go in, Will Campbell falls. We trade back twice. 2 times to get Will Campbell. That is a big one. Princely comes to us with the 6th pick in the 2nd round. Luther Burden falls to us in the 2nd round. This was best player available. I felt like maybe we could have did maybe better in some aspects, but I felt like in free agency we solidified James Daniels on the left, or on the right, really. Will Campbell will be on the left at left guard. We solidified Jonah Jackson in the middle. I feel good there. Jones will start this year out at left tackle. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be like that for next year. So don't get angry saying we need to boot Braxton Jones into the sun, because that's how Bears Twitter is. But the idea with this is he's an average player. We need to solidify the interior. And best player available in the 3rd was Luther Burden. The guy is going to be a top 10 pick in real life, maybe top 15. Luther Burden is insane. McMillan, I think, is the top receiver in the draft. Luther Burden is the 2nd at this point. Xavier Watts in the 3rd round, him falling there is probably big. That helps us solidify the safety position. Now, I would have liked Caleb Johnson here, but Jaden Ott does work. And then going with Deontay Lawson there in the middle, just as a good reserve player, is great. Luke Lackey taking a shot at him in the 5th round. This is going to be one where he has good speed. He's going to be behind Harrison Bryant, but I think he might be good. And in some packages, he's the 2nd one. Joshua Gray, he fell. He was bad. End of story. Will Howard, we need another quarterback. That's our 3rd. It's not Joe Flacco. So maybe we trade Tyson Bagent, but I don't think so. I like Tyson Bagent. Elijah Badger was just a throw out there. He's 91 speed, so that could be a special teams player. And Tonka Hemingway at 66 is a decent piece that we could build around. All in all, Will Campbell comes in as a 77. Princely comes in as a 73. Luther Burden at a 78. Watts at a 72. Jaden Ott at a 74. So that is good with that. Let's look at the NFL, how this draft put out. So Shadir Sanders comes in pretty comparable to Cam Ward. Abdul Carter, Mason Graham. This was probably going to be my pick if Abdul Carter wasn't there. Jalen Milroe, this was big with this. The instant Milroe went over to Cleveland, I knew this 1st round pick was going to be wild. Akil Williams goes here, then Pierce, LT Overton, and then Ewers with the Jets. That was crazy. Ewers going up this high is insane. And then Travis Hunter falling down to the Saints is crazy. They don't need him to play receiver at that. They have 2 good receivers. So him playing just corner one side, that is ridiculous. And Walker. And then Kenneth Gratt was taken. This is probably going to be my next pick. Will Campbell does fall. We take him. Will Johnson being a 78 is big. Now, I knew JT was going to be good. Ashton Genty an 81 to the Cowboys. That's not too bad. Kelvin Banks falls to the Seahawks at 18. Walker at 19. Morrison, that's a good one for them. Josh Simmons, that's a good pick. And then McMillan falling down here to Washington for Jaden Daniels is just wow. Stewart, that's really more of a position of need than a actual best player available. That's interesting. Williams there. Carson Beck will be the starting quarterback for the Steelers. I did not see that coming. And this one kills me. The Lions they just got even better. They just got even better. Everett's here. Emory Jones. This was a great pick by the Chiefs. DJ Sanders by the Eagles. That was a sneaky good pick. Donovan Jackson. Was hoping he would fall. Jake Major, so playing a little bit of center. Tyler Booker, pretty decent. Malachi Starks falls to Jacksonville. That's a good one. And then Dylan Gabriel for the Raiders. That is low key what I've seen in real life in mock drafts with the Giants that have been kind of weird. I've seen Giants in some of these mock drafts take an AI. Take Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter at 1. And then take a quarterback round 2. I don't think it'll work, but I don't know. Eric Carter there, and then Princely coming into us. Sawyer's taken here, and I'm thinking like Luther Burden's not going to stay here very long. And my pick is either Luther Burden or it's Isaiah Bond. And Isaiah Bond goes to the Cowboys, and I think that is amazing. 2 good steals here for Ursary and Millam. And Caleb Johnson goes to the Chiefs. It hurts my soul. Jackson Dart, just a developmental QB. I don't think they're going to play Jordan Love that much. This was a great pick. There's a couple great ones. I was hoping he would fall, but this is the one I'm probably kicking myself for. I don't think I needed to take Jalen out this high. I could have taken Tyleik Williams, but yeah, I thinking I probably should have done that because I had Ott and Henderson. I would have been fine taking either one of them, and really, yeah, I should have taken Tyleik Williams there. Not even look at the overalls, just as a thought process. That's what I should have did. All right, so we're gonna run the lottery and we're gonna see if anyone shows up for us. Deshaun Watson is the Steelers quarterback. There's going to be a quarterback competition there with them. Pick up Dwayne Smoot. Go through Miles Jack to the Chargers. Daniel Jones to the Jaguars. He's already on the Jaguars. Hoping that we got a couple of more players. Wow, Nichols, he was decent in Chicago. Patrick Jones, linebacker. On hand to the Titans. Cam's Sketabo. Okay. He's an undrafted guy. That's a good one. A little talk of him on Bears Twitter. A late round pick that might be good. Gardner Minshew over the Jets. You get Javon Kinlaw in the middle. A DT. Going through. Westbrook Akine will be with us for the preseason at least. Look for any big, insane things. Missing a lot. Karis Barnes will be with us for the preseason. Shaquille Griffin to the Vikings. It's a secret. Really good one. Josh Uche to the Packers. Oh, I put in to try to get him and we don't get him. Oh, that hurts. Farrell to the Commanders. Actually pretty decent. We're to the next year. Ready. I'm ready to go. Okay. Tool schedule. So progression tool. Let's hit the progression tool. Okay. Here is our progress report for it. Caleb Williams goes up to a 96. Jesus Christ, Caleb. Cam Skibidoo goes up to a 74. Roma Dunze to an 86. Jesus. Cole Komet to an 84. Now we're to an 85. Can I see the Bears? I want to see ours. Will Campbell up to an 86. Stevenson up to a 84. That's good. All right, to an 85. Dexter to an 80. With an 84. Okay. I'm liking this. Let's look at the NFL. The highest changes. 13 for Nate Wiggins. Oh my, oh my. 11 for Troy Fatanu. Here, Brown was pretty big. Brees Hall. Okay, up to a 95. CJ Stroud to a 92. Jesus. Okay. This is going to be fun. All right, so I've already ran that. Free agent lottery again. A free agent lottery. I'm just going to run it for everyone. Our schedule this year is as follows. We start week 1 at Pittsburgh, followed by Vikings, and then Packers at home, away at Commanders, at home against the Cowboys, away to the Panthers, at home against the Lions and Vikings. So all of our division home games are in the first 8 weeks of the season, first 9 weeks. At home against the Eagles and the Ravens. So this is a 4-game home streak before we start bouncing around on the road with the Lions and Packers going to week 12 and week 13. I'm going to get a couple mods that transfer like Thursday football so we can see what Thursday and Sunday night football are with broadcast wise. At home against the 49ers, away at the Giants, we host the Raiders and then Bengals, and at home the last week of the season against the Browns. That is not too bad of a schedule. I think we can handle that. I think we can really handle that. 18th, the strength of schedule, that's likely going to change. And yeah, the biggest thing is we don't have a top 10 player on the offense. We don't have a top 10 player in the defense. Okay, so that will be the end of this episode. Thanks for hanging out, guys. It was a long one. I feel like this could be a fun franchise. I'm going to be playing the games in full cut. We'll have fun with the Madden tools, and then we will go in and see how big Modded Madden is. We're going to have some fun with it. It's going to be experimentation. We're not going to take this too serious. We're going to hang out. It's halfway through the Madden cycle anyway. We're just going to figure this out. So when the next game comes in and we pick an actual team that's other than the Bears, I'm doing the Bears because of the draft picks that they had this year and more flexibility with the second round, things like that. But also, I'm just experimenting to see what we can do with a franchise on Modded Madden. So maybe next year we go and take a team like the Jets if Rodgers retires, or maybe digging ourselves out of the cap issue with the Browns, maybe the Jaguars. You have the Titans. You can go with the Raiders, would be a good one. From there, maybe the Falcons. Carolina might be a good one to build a team in. The Saints be another fun one to do. So there's a lot of teams that we could have some fun with in all of that. And it comes down to, let's see what Modded Madden can do for us. So thanks for hanging out. Go and leave a like below, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Later.